Hi guys, this is Raj Kaul once again on the Raj Kaul podcast, and how you all been? So I've still got my mustache because of Movember. So if you would kindly go to my profile and sponsor us, so it's for a good cause. It's for men's suicide rates. We want to get them dropped down. And yeah, so if you could sponsor me that. But anyway, let's get to the podcast. I've got a great guest again today. So I've known this guest for a very long time. But I've actually seen him on Brit Asia Superstar. I think that's maybe no, I saw him before that, but he really made a mark on that show, Brit Asia Superstar. I remember he was like such a good singer at that time, and thought, yeah, this guy can sing. And yeah, I'm going to ask him about that anyway as we get into this interview. So today I've got none other than Ranbir Daskai. Have I pronounced your name right, bro?
Hey, Raj. Hey, yeah, Raj Kaul. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure of mine. And obviously, we go back as well.
Yeah.
I'm liking the mustache. Looking very cool, bud.
Look like an 80s.
It's a good cause.
Yeah.
It's a good cause. So, you know, all the viewers, please do sponsor and do support a good cause.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've been called I've got a nickname, Pablo Escobar, because I think I'm from the cartel. So at work, people are calling me Pablo at the moment.
No, you look like a gangster, man.
Yeah, from the 80s.
You need a tuxedo. Yeah, but good. The weather's getting cold. But yeah, sab theek hai, chalda paya. It's good.
That's great. So I've got a story about yourself. So I don't know why it's missed my head. So I'm always on the lookout for artists, and this is my bad, really. That for some reason, you got in contact with me. I thought, why didn't I think of you? Because you're such a talented singer, you got such a background in music. Because I get artists, as I was saying to you off there, I get artists always asking me, saying, can you have a son? But then I'm thinking, dude, I'm going to ask you about music, technical stuff. And there's no disrespect, but if you don't know that side, say you're just a singer, you just come off the block, what am I going to ask you? Do you know what I mean? At least with yourself, I can ask you about rags, or I can ask you about your routine, playing a vaja and your studio experience. You got vast amounts of experience. You sat with Sadul Skandar. I can see the t-shirt. I started Sadul Skandar. So exactly, yeah. So I'm so glad that you contacted me, and I thought, okay, I don't know why I didn't think of that. So it's just out of picture at the moment, but I think because of the interview with Sahara, you got in contact with me, didn't you?
Yeah. You know, I actually watched that. I follow everybody anyway. He's not just a close friend of mine, close relative of mine. Well, I follow him since I was young. The method podcast they see, and it was really good. I thought, you know, obviously we go back as well. The main thing
Yeah,
is.
absolutely. Yeah. So let's go back to the start. I know I'm gonna I'll let you decide how you want to do this, but I know you're the nephew of a great singer, Daljeet Need G. I know, so start Daljeet Need
G.
Yeah, so tell me how your childhood was being in that environment. Not only that, because of that, I'm assuming you've been with some of the best singers ever. You've sat down with the best singers ever. So I'm a bit jealous of you, bro. So talk about that.
No, you know what? I'm blessed to say that. ਦਲਜੀਤ ਨੀਰ ਜੀ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਇਆ ਜੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਤਾਇਆ ਜੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਵੇਂ obviously when I was young ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਬੱਚਾ ਆ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸੁਣ ਕੇ ਤੇ ਘਰ ਵੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਲੱਗਣੀ you know we've got big artists staying, not just popping around to the house but staying with us, such as Ustad Ghulam Ali Khan Sahab, Hans ji. ਤੇ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਓਬਵੀਅਸਲੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਘਰ ਦਾ ਕਰਾਣਾ ਹੈ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਉਸਤਾਦ ਨੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਸ਼ਾਗਿਰਦ ਉਸਤਾਦ ਗੁਮਦੂਰ ਅਮਨ ਜੀ who is ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਮੇਰੇ ਦਾਦਾ ਉਸਤਾਦ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਤੇ then we've got Bharpoor ji who is Sardul Skandar ji, both brothers they on obviously Sardul Skandar Chacha ji. So being around the atmosphere it's a massive blessing for me, really massive blessing. Such from a young age, the acha gana sunna, acha sangeet sunna. So I always had a passion for it. I mean, I've spoke about this in many interviews, and people have heard this so many times, but I'll always say, thanks to God and thanks to my Tayaji and Father Sahib that, I've been around that association, from there, but a passion for music since young.
So is it just your Tayaji who sings, or was it your dad as well, or is it?
No, dad's just passionate of music. Dad, he's heavily involved with listening, and he'll always have he'll always give his input and stuff. But no, he's not a singer. He's not a musician, in such. But yeah, Matayaji, obviously, I've followed his footsteps.
Okay, so what did you when you were young? When did you actually start your singing journey per se, or was you just singing Bella all day?
ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਉਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਦਾਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਰਿਆਜ਼ ਚੱਲਦੀ ਸੀ ਤੇ I used to hum along and stuff, ਜਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਸਾਈਡ ਤੇ ਬਹਿ ਜਾਣਾ ਤਾਇਆ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ. And I didn't know I'm going to take this serious or anything until I'm going to say late teens. It was late on. ਤੇ ਉਦਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸ਼ੌਂਕ ਸੀਗਾ, ਪਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ look, I'm gonna become an artist or a so-called artist one day or anything. And then when it became late teens, it was one of them. Dad used to take me on shows, and then obviously to the studios and whatever. It would just become, I don't know. It just kind of fit in, kind of thing.
So what was the mahal like? I'm really interested because for me, you've got like one of the most perfect mahals that that only child would want to grow up with legends coming to your house, you sitting as a kid, and I got this picture in my head where you're sitting with Salud Skandar and your Taji just jamming, and you were sitting thinking,
Oh yeah,
what's going on? Tell me about that, because I'm fascinated.
certainly, Raj. That's how it was. Obviously when they used to come in the late 80s, the 90s, ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਹੀ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਤੇ obviously family ਸਾਡਾ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਸਾਡਾ family ਮਾਹੌਲ ਸੀ. But when they used to be sitting during the hours ਜਾਂ ਮਹਿਫਲ ਲੱਗਣੀ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਬਹਿ ਜਾਣਾ ਹਨਾ. ਤੇ my cousin brother Billu Mir, who is a great tabla artist, me and him used to sit there, and now kafi talim layi from my older brother, and he, it was just a different enjoyment. Was the ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਗਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ these kids are into music, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਆ ਵੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ ਕਿ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ an artist, ਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਬੱਚੇ are going to be into that, into music, especially living in the UK. But when Sadul Chacha ji used to see us, they used to get so happy. And I remember them saying, bache bahut surile, they listen to good music. They want to listen, they want to learn. ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਵਾਲ ਪੁੱਛਣਾ ਕਿ ਆ ਚੀਜ਼ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਆ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਆ ਰਾਗ, ਡਰ ਵੀ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕੋਲ, ਪਰ their personality was absolutely amazing. Obviously, meeting so many artists throughout the years from childhood, with them, we just had like a personal connection, and they were so. I mean, everyone says it. Whoever you speak to, artists or Loki or anyone who's interviewing, everyone would say that. Oh, no, they liked me the favorite. They liked me the favorite. But when personality see kya baat si. But yeah, like I say, asking them questions, and getting into the nitty gritty of kind of music is it was amazing. Really, really, really good.
So did you get any
I don't really miss him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can imagine. It's a great, massive loss. Loss that the Punjabi industry will never, well, music will never recover from, to be fair. We'll never recover from that. Yeah.
Never. I mean, as we know, unfortunately, music changes. Yeah, and some good, some bad, and but I think the traditional folk music always comes back. Other people. But onada jara gaiki da style siga, it's never going to be again. It's hard. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of good talent out there, and follow their footsteps. But onadi jiri gaiki si, even when alongside their co-artists, or even today, no one could do.
No, I think
onadi galbaati for sure.
I think the other thing was with them. is that they had to struggle. Well, we're born here, and it's not like a bad thing or a good thing. It's basically we're born here, but they had to really struggle. Only garibi dekhi hai. We've never seen garibi, have we really?
जी 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 जरूर जरूर
So
yeah
that's why when ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਗਰੀਬੀ ਦੇਖਦਾ ਹਨਾ, they have to really really struggle, and we're fortunate. Well, I don't know whether it is a blessing that we're born here. You know, we've never seen that poverty, but I know that Sadhu Skandarji and many other artists, they've really seen, like, really been poor at one time, really poor, where they had nothing.
that's right that's
I
right
mean, so
they
that
started
after
they
you, sorry.
started from the bottom you know where ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪੁਰਾਣਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਤੇ ਖੇਰੀ ਨੌ ਸਿੰਘ ਹਨਾ they started there ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ struggle ਕੀਤੀ
Hmm.
with their brothers. You know, they used to travel just to get recognized, and then you know that's why they used to play with people like Kuldeep Manakji and all the great artists, senior artists. What have they struggled? They've certainly done a lot of struggle, and certainly their recognition, I believe, should have been more than it is, and it was for who they are and what they did.
Hmm. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, 100%. And I think, why do you think that is?
I think they were too humble, to be honest with you.
Hmm.
I think ज़्यादा humble भी होना, is it a positive vibe? I'm not sure, but when I did the humbleness, it was just they were too honest. To put it in, you know, clear. There was a very very honest person.
Hmm. And the other thing is, like, you know, these days, if you want to get really, really big, you have to pack up and move to Mumbai or something. If you know, if you want to get on that level, you have to actually move. Like, was it Labjanjua? He actually moved to Mumbai, didn't he? He had a place there.
That's right.
So that's why he was so big. Sukhvinder Singh, you know, they moved to Mumbai.
They sacrificed a lot. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and moving to, you know, Mumbai is not an easy thing. You know, it's different. Maybe it's different these days, but those days you had to be in the circle, didn't you, Hannah?
Yeah, I mean Mumbai is one of them places, Bollywood industry or any industry like that, you know, you've got to adapt to these people very, very quick, and your own personality changes. I mean, again, Sukhwinder Singh, I've followed Sukhwinder Singh since a young age, one of my favorite artists. And they moved to Bombay, obviously looking up to great Bollywood artists. But the thing is, it's hard to keep that, how can I say it, that personality you grew up with to adapt to their moving. It's like, you know, as a Yorkshire lad moving to London, you know, it's very steady here, but London's very quick, 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 get it
Mhm.
done kind of thing. Even, you know, artists such as Mangal Singh Ji, kya baat hai, what another great artist who went to Bollywood and, you know, rised and shined. And for us Punjabi, it's a very proud moment. But for them, it would have been a very hard struggle. But to get there on that platform, absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
So let's get back to yourself. So when you were in your teens, how did you start? Did you just think, "Oh, I'm gonna become a singer," or were you encouraged by your dads, your family members? How did that actually start?
Okay, so basically, I was encouraged. Now, it wasn't a case of, look, I want to release something, go out and urge, hence why I released late. I did have, you know, offers from people like Srinder Rattan and, you know, other producers out there. As a young artist, you know, when the RDB days were going off and people, you know, these guys heard me and said, oh, look, come to the studio, we'll get your track recorded and get you a track out there. I was never kind of, it didn't excite me. You know, for me, the karna, acha gana sunna, acha, you know, I felt like I'm not ready. Even though it was normal, it's easy to put, you know, a bhangra track together and just go in the studio,
Mm.
put an auto tune there and there. But no, it wasn't what I wanted. So yeah, so when I was a young teenager, you know, I listened to good music. You know, Ustad Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan Saab, even Slamat Ali Khan ji, Nazakat Ali, these big, you know, classical artists, as well as folk music, Kuldeep Manak ji, Surinder Shinda ji. and obviously, listening to Sarbul Skandarji and Sukhinder Singh and all these good artists. But it was always, Riyaz Karna, learning good tips, asking the good question, asking the right questions from these artists. Um, it just became as a hobby. It was like going out there playing football with the lads and, Riyaz Karna, Jinal. But yeah, just become as a hobby. And then later on, I thought, okay, and then getting encouraged by family members that look, take this further. If you enjoy it, I've had a lot of family support. All my family have supported me since a young age, and they still do.
Hi guys, this is Raj Kaul. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. If you want to support the rest of my music, if you could go and check me out on Spotify, on Apple Music, and add my songs to your playlists if you like them. Thank you. So how did that transition take place? So I'm assuming your family's encouraging you. So did you approach your Tayaji for a lesson? Who did you learn from that at that point?
I think it was just a natural thing. ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈਗਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਤਾਇਆ ਜੀ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਬਹਿ ਜਾਣਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਫਿਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਏਦਾਂ ਰਿਆਜ਼ ਕਰਨੀ ਏਦਾਂ ਵੋਕਲ ਨੂੰ ਸਟਰੋਂਗ ਕਰਨਾ ਇਸ ਰਾਗ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਹਨਾ ਰਿਆਜ਼ ਕਰਨੀ for the next few weeks. So it just became a natural kind of ਜਿਵੇਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਘਰਾਣੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈਗਾ ਸੀਗਾ. Like I say, I'll always say thank God that I was blessed around that atmosphere. But yeah, it was just, it was natural.
So it was in your household. I'm assuming. Just correct me if I'm wrong. So in your household, before you even started singing, you were just doing this practice with your Tayaji. You were sitting down with them, and you were just learning constantly. Is that correct? How you would describe it?
Yeah, that's the kind of thing, and Tairi was, obviously on the harmonium or whatever. The men Al Bejana, then obviously, I'd note my ideas, what I'm learning, and I just go away and up at Riyaz Academy. Tairi gifted me a harmonium at the age of 16. As a gift, it was one of their harmoniums they had. Since then, I just love the instrument. I do regret that I didn't play any other instruments. I do regret. Okay, I should have, maybe learned tabla or even other instruments. But harmonium, I was just so close to it. Even when I was young, I just used to love the sound of the vaja. It just, I don't know, there was a next level feeling and vibe when I used to hear vaja. Obviously, all instruments are beautiful. But I always wanted to just chori apna touch karna kisi da harmonium papa ji da jaake harmonium. Obviously these things are they're priceless.
So what did you do? So if you had a lesson, just say argument's sake, if you were sat with your Tayaji, what would you do at home? Would you deliberately go and practice, or how would you set that structure? Would you just jam for hours, or what? We're trying to get a picture. I'm trying to get a picture in my head. What would you? Yeah.
No, it's just not jump for hours. It just be, like it just says, Riyaz Jaldisi. So I used to just obviously sit there and, Mataji would say, look, follow me or you try this. And it was just a case of like a natural, how can I put it?
Progression.
Natural progression.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so you've started singing at 16, was it, taking lessons? So how did you let me correct, did you go on Brit Asia before that, or did you release before what happened before? I can't remember now.
No, Brit Asia was well after. I think, maybe when I was I don't remember now, but Brit Asia was well after. I think it was probably when I was about 19, 20. It was a competition. I think my brother put me forward and he said, look, Brit Asia doing this competition, give it a go. I think it'll be a good shout just to get a bit of recognition and see how it goes. It was a good platform. There was some great judges there. Yeah, and you know, I really, really did enjoy it. Obviously, worked with many people before anyway, such as the band which was playing at the time. Um, I didn't release anything at that point. I recorded, I did studio recordings. I was performing as a side, you know, yoga artist. Um, but I didn't release anything. My release was after Kerve came out in 2011 or 10,
Mhm.
um, which was a single on someone's album. And that was my first release, but many studio recordings before. So, you know, there's unreleased tracks from what I can think of 2004,
Wow.
2005. So, with David Garibay, which was professionally done, but never released for whatever reason.
Mm. What was the Brit Asia thing like? So did you go there? Was it just tell us about the experience of that, because I
Mm,
think the audience would love to know what goes on behind the scenes of
yeah,
these
yeah.
talent things. What was it? Was it daunting? What was the process like behind that?
I think it was pretty easy. I mean, you entered the competition, if I remember correctly, entered the competition, went for an audition, uh, positive feedback all the way through. Um, but yeah, it was a great platform. I think, you know, obviously, for the channel, what they were trying to do as well. Uh, I don't think they're doing it anymore, but it'd be great to see if they did that thing again. But it was a great experience, really, really good experience for youngsters. There was many, many artists on there, which have today become professional artists. So I still see now and then on social media, oh, this person from Brit Asia. I remember this person from Brit Asia Superstars, and some had just come and gone, which had talent as well. But it was just one of them things. You went, you did your audition, um, and then I think we did a couple of rehearsals, and I think, you know, for anyone um, who wants to get into the industry, you know, find these kind of platforms, if it's India, Canada, America, wherever it is. But if someone is doing this kind of organization, I think it's a great platform for someone to put their talent out there. But yeah, it was a good buzz, good buzz.
Mm. I remember seeing you there, and you were probably, because there were singers there, but they were like, just normal singers, like who had great voices and stuff. But you were a
Mm,
bit more technical than them. I
thank
remember
you,
you doing
thank
a bit more a bit more harkata in there and stuff. Your singing style was a bit more technical than
you.
a lot of the singers on there. And that's not to, every sing there's different types of singing, but yours was a bit more technical. So how far did you get? Was it semis you got into there, or
No, to the finals,
that's a final?
finals, yeah, finals figure. Yeah, it was good. It was good. Live band, we all performed live. There was nothing pre-recorded. I know things have changed now when you watch, you know, these competitions and stuff are pre-recorded,
Yeah.
but everything was live. And the judge panel, from what I can remember, Jenny G, you know, I love Jenny. I'm a big fan of theirs, and to sing in front of these kind of people was absolutely amazing. You
Yeah,
know,
it's not a
and I
joke.
think the guy who organized it, what I believe, he did a good job. Excess Base, I think, Haj is it?
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
Hard
yeah, yeah.
body, yeah, 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 yeah. He did a great job. You know, all his team, they did a good job. For Asia or whoever was involved at the time, or whoever Asia was run by at the time, they did a good job. It's unfortunate that they didn't take it further. And the only negative vibe I had from it after that, they didn't really pick any artists or many artists up to kind of take them further. So what I was doing, you know, then I went to record, and then I released Kerve, Yad Karegi, and
Mhm.
such other. I don't know if, you know, I don't really get into the politics and the nitty gritties of it, but you know, I felt like sort of supported, you know, artists like myself and whoever was on the panels that, yeah, look, these guys have actually took it professionally. Let's take these on board. Let's help them and you know, put their songs out there, kind of thing. I just think, you know, that kind of faded out for whatever reason.
Yeah, because that's what I was gonna say. Like the winner on there on each season, you didn't hear from them again. But yet, what was promised was a massive, like they're gonna have a record label, like an album deal, and they're gonna do this. But nothing. Unless I've lost unless I was out of touch, but I don't remember the artist after that.
Yeah, he was a great artist himself. Ravi, I think his name was. But it's like, they promised a few of us that, look, go away, do your stuff, bring it back to us. We'll always support you, kind of thing. I don't know. It's yeah, there's platforms, there's other platforms as well. I mean, I don't know if you want me to name their names, but it's unfortunate that when you say, you know, they're supporting British artists, are they supporting British artists?
Hmm.
Are they, are they supporting the professionals who are trying to, or not trying to, they're working hard out there. माँ बोली दी सेवा कर रहे हैं. That's the main thing. That's what we're
Hmm.
doing. Yeah. They are they really supporting UK artists?
Hmm.
There might be a handful, and they'll back themselves up and say why yes we are. We're supporting so and so. We're supporting so. But without any reason, you question yourself or even question them. Why are you not supporting us guys? What is it, we're doing wrong, or have we upset you in any way? It's just you can't get your head around it. And I know a lot of artists have actually brought this up. I think we've gone into a different conversation. Sorry, Paji,
That's all right, no
if I
worries.
have. But there's like BBC Asian Network. Okay, there's only one presenter on there who will always kind of support us. Dips Bumrah Paji is always supported. Every
100%. Yeah.
Punjabi artist, UK artist, absolutely lovely guy. But I believe it's not as in control of BBC Asian Network, whoever the producers are or whatever it is. Are these guys really supporting us? I've got nothing against them. I think they do a brilliant job. You heard their stuff, but then you think you could do better. Why are you not supporting UK artists?
Hmm.
And that's my question to these guys. Um, is it is there some the politics involved in it, or is there something else they're asking for? It's a big question mark, and a lot of artists are frustrated over this situation.
Yeah, it's interesting that happens, and I remember there was a change in this is going back to the Brit Asia and the Z time. At that time, when you did the
Mm.
competition, there was a change where you had Punjabi music or like Hindi music or Indian or South Asian music that was promoted on there. Then it switched to like rap. All you would hear on there is rap. Not nothing wrong with rap music, but
Yeah,
the
yeah,
channel is Brit Asia, where you're expecting like Punjabi Hindi music or but that was gone. All you heard was on there this sort of cheap rap music on there, which wasn't even very
yeah.
good. So
To be honest with you, I switched off after a while. Listening to them kind of channels and whatever. But you're certainly right. I think shortly after, even when I put the channel on, or any house members put the channel on, they was playing, mainstream English music, and like you says, rap music or whatever. There wasn't much element of Punjabi music in there.
hmm,
But I just don't get why they use the word, Brit Asia. Are you supporting British Asians? British Punjabi culture. Again, BBC Asian Network. Um, but yeah, I'm not being. How can I say? I'm not being rude to these guys. They're doing a brilliant job. Obviously, they're doing what they need to do. But my message is, and I'm sure the artist's message is, we would like them to support us more,
hmm.
if anything, a little bit at least.
Well, I'm gonna be a bit controversial here. So
Mm,
we looked at the BBC. We're saying that they're doing a great job, but did you know their listening figures are declining year upon year?
are they? Okay.
Yes.
Well,
So
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
so
Because
are they doing a good job?
you know what, you've just hit the nail on the head. Are they doing a good job? Yeah, you're right, and maybe that's why it is, because they're not supporting your locals.
Hmm.
Where you've got the smaller radio channels, they're happy to support you. You've got Sunrise or Punjab or whatever, or any local radio. It's not hard work with them. With BBC, it's just you just don't even get an answer back. Never mind anything else.
Hmm.
I work with local record labels, UK record labels, you know, they're constantly emailing these guys, and they'll say, "Oh no, you need to email so and so, you need to email." You never hear anything. It's like, you know, are you guys just why? You know, there's a big question mark. I think Apache Indian, um, he brought this up a few years back, a couple
Yeah,
of
I
years
remember.
back,
Yeah.
and then it just went all quiet. But he did a brilliant job of trying to, you know, making some sound of and saying, "Look, why are these guys not
Mhm.
supporting us?" And then it just went all quiet after. But you know, I feel like I'm ranting and raving about it. But if we
No,
don't speak, you know,
but you know what my opinion is, bro. But like, yeah, I I'm always on the mindset, right? If something's not working, let's do our own thing. That's why this platform's here, bro.
100%,
That's why this
100%.
platform's here. That's why you're on this platform today. Let's make an independent movement, Hannah. It's like before we used to be tied to the labels. We all do our music independently now. Up
Of course,
any label. Yeah, we haven't got the budgets of labels, but yeah, we still can release our music. I'd rather get our music out there than relying on a label where you're tied in. Because I remember I was going to release my first song, comeback song, Hannah, and it was with, I'm not going to mention the label's name, but they wanted. I've written the song,
mm,
composed it, yet they want to keep all the rights of that song. The English
Acha,
industry doesn't work like this.
no,
Why
no.
is that Punjabi industry like this? You
Good
know?
question. Good question. It's Punjabi people. I don't know. I don't know. You know, I think you're answering your own question, but I, I think as much as you can do it yourself, using the platforms we've got around us,
Yeah,
you know, that's the best way forward. Yes, it'll be nice for all these guys to support, but I think you've just got to be a bit savvy, and kind of just go out there, do your research yourself, and just release kind of yourself kind of thing.
yeah,
And you know what? It's becoming, um, a lot of people becoming successful in it anyway. So I think it's just one of them. Open your own shop and don't worry about anybody else is doing, and kind of, you know, just put in the hard work there.
exactly. If you got the talent like yourself, people will start noticing themselves, won't they? I know.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay, so let's go. We went off on a tangent. Let's get back to music. But it's all right. This is it's like we're sitting at home anyway. So
ਇਹ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਨੀਆਂ ਚਾਹੀਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ
yeah,
ਫਿਰ ਆਮ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ why these guys are not, you know, recognized in certain platforms until we don't speak. I think what it is, if we keep it inside us, and then it's like one of them where, you know, you get, you know, anxiety yourself. But
yeah,
we've got to speak about these kind of things for
yeah,
them people to know as well. And also आम लोगों ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਪਤਾ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਕਿ these guys work hard, they should be recognized by XYZ.
yeah. I mean, no one's asking for the moon. All everyone is asking is play our track on the mainstream. Let the audience decide if it's good. If it gets a good feedback, then you keep it on there. If it
Exactly,
doesn't, you don't put it on there. Any
exactly.
yeah.
Nigalia. So what's here? You know, we work hard. We work in the studio day and night, composing, karna, karna, and all we're asking for just something in a bit of return. We're giving you something, yeah.
Yeah,
ऐसी अपनी माँ बोली भी सेवा करें. We're doing it for your guys. We're doing it for your kids. You know, and we're doing it for the culture to move forward. Obviously, we're UK British artists. That's all we're asking for. Uh, but we can rant and rave about this. Let's see.
mhm. Yeah. We don't want it to be a radio rant, but anyway. So yeah, back to your music. So you released which one was it? Care. What was the song called? I can't remember now. It's that long ago.
Candid. That's
Yeah.
right, Candid. That was my
How did
first release.
how did that come about?
That was a guy called Tommy Temptations. Absolutely lovely, lovely guy. He had a passion for producing music. I think he's a DJ today as well. So he got in contact with me. He said, "Look, I've seen you on Brit Asia, XYZ, and you know, I want to record your track." So we did it. I think I had a track written. I gave him a few ideas, and he liked that one. Unfortunately, it was a sad track. So a first track being like a slow sad track, I'm not sure if it was a good idea, but it did well. You know, people liked it. Sajjana tere bina hanera dasiga kush teri hove khair ve. I'm not sure if the screen's on, but it was actually the 2012. We released that. 2011, sorry, no, 11. We released that track.
Wow. The thing was, the industry was changing at that time because I released a few songs at that time, by 2008, and
Gee,
it was becoming from physical to digital. Do you know what I mean? You used to have CDs and that, but it was
that's
just
right, yeah.
changing at that time. And I got caught out in that period where, you know that no, idhar joga, no, udhar joga.
सही गल है राज, सही गल है, क्योंकि आज ਜਿਹੜਾ ਗਾਣਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਨਾ, it was my only CD track.
Yeah,
ਇਹ CD single ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ, I think Safri ਭਾਜੀ, ਬਲਵਿੰਦਰ ਸਫਰੀ ਜੀ, or Horsen, great artists on there, and it was a mix album. That's the only song of mine which was on a CD.
yeah.
And the digital platform was just coming through. So you're 100% right, 100% right, buddy.
Yeah, it's a funny era, isn't it? What do you think's different from that era, like to now? Because you're probably one of the only legacy artists, like that were caught in, like myself as well, was caught
Yeah,
in between two worlds, like
yeah.
caught between the physical world, but where you and I have probably grown up listening to Sahotas, DCS, bands
Yeah.
here, although physical. Them suddenly, because a lot of the bands didn't transition to digital very well, did they?
No. I mean, obviously they had this mindset that tapes from records to tapes to tapes to CDs, and then this digital thing was just whole new. How
Yeah,
is it going to work? Are people going to buy our music online? Are they even going to watch it? Or are they going to? How is it going to work? But now, I mean, obviously it's become so amazing. You've got so many platforms. You just can't juggle with them at the moment. It's like, okay, you've got your professional platforms such as Spotify, iTunes, and Amazon Music, which is, amazing. And then you've got your own platforms such as Instagram and TikTok and whatever, YouTube. YouTube become massive then as well. So it's a good thing, obviously, that these platforms are out there, and artists like ourselves, we can go out there, put our music out there, whatever we're thinking, koi composition or koi nawa gana, before recording it, before spending money on it, asking your audience, asking your fans, like, what do you think of this song? And that's what actually happened with Yaad Karegi. So I'm not sure if you remember, but Yaad Karegi was my second release.
mm-hmm.
And I actually performed that on Brit Asia. So it was a song I composed and wrote. Rather than obviously performing ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਗਾਣਾ, ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਗਾਣਾ ਉਹਦਾ audition ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ perform ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ. A lot of producers, people says, oh, we really like that song. But we want to take it off you, X, Y, Z. The Tanks was a very close friend of mine from many years before we worked together, and I was writing tracks for his previous albums and whatever. The Tanks said, look, Ranbir, I want Yaad Karegi. And I said, look, I promised it to a couple of other people. He goes, no, I want it. A lot of audience, obviously YouTube, Asia superstars from that competition. This is all who's this track by? Where's this track? Where can we find it? And I said, look, it's my own track. That's when we released Yaad Karegi after Kerry, on the back of Brit Asia superstars performing it then and getting good feedback from it.
No, awesome. So what was that experience like? This is your second track. Was it in his studio, or whose studio did you go to record that?
We recorded that at Amit's studio, Fire Tiger Music in Coventry. In fact, I did a lot of work. My lot of starter work was done in his studio, and he's a great engineer. And Tanks produced the track. That was actually, I recorded the dubbing first, I think, before for someone else at Ravi Bal studio.
Acha.
Before Ravi Bal, this was before Brit Asia, I think. But then, we didn't do anything with that version. And then, like I say, we give it to Tanks, and that got released in 2012, I believe.
Wow. So what was it like in Ravi Bell Studio? It's like another legend of the game.
Oh, amazing. Amazing. I mean, Ravi, obviously, he was working with massive artists at the time. India artists and UK, obviously, he's done a lot of UK Bangla stuff as well. I spent a short time with him, But whatever I did, I took a lot of experience from himself as well. But yeah, it was good. It was a good vibe. But for whatever reason, we didn't go ahead with that version of track. I think the record labels I was in talk with, it just didn't happen for whatever reason. But yeah, it was a good experience. Good experience, and a nice guy, Robbie. Very, very, very talented.
Oh, nice. So, what track was after that?
After that, Ajamai, we worked in, I think it was recorded in 2014, 15 or something. So yeah, we worked on Ajamai, which was a bit of a different vibe, bit out of my comfort zone. So, everyone was saying, look, Ranbir, yeah, a couple of slow tracks you done, we want to hear something different. And that was the feedback I was getting. It wasn't a Bhangra track, but it was like a dance track.
Mm-hmm.
So, it wasn't your typical Dol or anything like that. But it was what was playing at the time. Unfortunately, I didn't release the track how I wanted to release it, in the sense of, so we did this, me and 3Q Indie Paji did it, we released it, we put it out there, but I think it could have been a bigger track. HMC we got out on there. Punjabi MC Raj Paji, he actually came to the studio, gave some good tips when we were producing it,
Wow.
and when I was recording the track. So yeah, there was some massive influences that were imported on the track. But I think when I took the track, when I released Can't Look Sardar with T Series, and they heard Aja Mai, they was like, we would have took this track on. We would have told you how to do the video, and this track would have done massive in Delhi, in Mumbai, and
Wow.
it's that kind of vibe. So at the time, even people were saying to me, "Look, Ranbir, you're not releasing this track right. It needs this kind of video. It needs to be released in this kind of market." But I think it was just one of them. Look, we need to get something out there. It's been a year or two. Yad Karigi's been out. We need to get something out there. And Aja Mahi was kind of ready, and we released it. But I look back and I think, you know what, we should have done it this way, and it should have been that way. But Jorabdi Amarzia, we did it that way. But it's still, a lot of people still enjoyed that track. The Pakistani market liked that track whenever I performed that as well. So Aja Mahi is, like I say, there's positives but negatives, but yeah, it's a good track for me.
Hi guys, this is Raj Kaul. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. If you want to support the rest of my music, if you could go and check me out on Spotify, on Apple Music, and add my songs to your playlists if you like them. Thank you. Well, it's always a positive because you learn from it, don't you? So that's, in that sense.
Oh, of course, Zurur.
Yeah. So how did you get in contact with T Series? Did they approach you for the track, or?
No, T Series, what a great experience that was. So that was when we worked with Snil Kalyan Paji. So obviously I go back with him, and he's a close friend of mine. So we decided that we're going to go to India. Had nothing pre-planned. We just said we're going to go to India as a holiday. We actually had a show out there. That was I had a show in Delhi, and I said, well, he was out there at the same time. So I met up with Baj. We spent a lot of time together. We performed in the Delhi, and then we recorded again Look Sardar at Jelly Manjeet Puri's studio.
Wow.
And we recorded the track. I thinking, okay, let's see what we're going to do. Take this next step further. Took it to a few record labels. Yeah, I had a couple of meetings or whatever. And then T Series, we went to Delhi through Paji's connection. And we went there. I believe at the time, Sardol Chachaji also they would have had many connections there. But they dropped a word in as well. We had a meeting with them. What an experience there! Probably the best experience of my life. We actually went to T Series Studios there, so it's just like a massive factory. That 2 or 3 massive studios, and something happening there. Something, it was in Nodi in Delhi. they listened to obviously Can't Look Sardar, which we mixed and mastered. There was no video done for it at the time. They said we like the track, played them other tracks. They said yes, we like this track. Depending on the video, just bring it back to it, and we'll take it from there. We then shot the video, a few days later or a week later in Chandigarh, and then gave them the product, and they took it on without any ifs and buts. Like I say, Can't Look Sardar was probably one of my biggest projects up to date at the moment. They're really, really close to my heart, and I've really, really enjoyed every experience of it.
Wow, that's crazy. Did you meet anyone big there, apart from executives at T Series?
There was the Clash. Kerr was there. I remember at the time.
Really? Wow, that's
There was
massive, man.
there was a Bollywood actress there. But for us just to be there at T Series, a record label where we've listened to so many, anthems and great artists who have worked with T Series, for me to be there was absolutely amazing.
That's crazy, bro. Have I lost you? I think we might have lost him for a second. Let me just pause it and we'll get back to it. It's going to put the pause. Yeah, sorry about that. We just got cut off. A technical glitch, Gallo. Yeah. So we're back anyway. So you were telling us about T Series and you met Bollywood actresses Kailash Kher ji, and yeah. So we'll carry on with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, it was an amazing experience. Then we took the product to them. We had a meeting, me and Sunil Paji. In fact, Ikor Mundasi, someone else who Sunil took as well. They, it was probably one of the best experiences I've had in my life when it's come to industry. It was absolutely fantastic. Obviously working with T Series, and again that publicity of working with obviously established platform, it certainly changes, and helps you for moving forward.
So, in your opinion, you worked with the biggest Indian label in well, biggest South Asian label in the world, if not the biggest, if not the biggest overall, because I think it's got the most YouTube subscribers in the world. That T Series. What was your experience from working with a label like that and also doing something independently?
It certainly takes a lot. Certainly takes a lot of pressure off you. When you're working independently, obviously you're promoting most of your stuff yourself or with a few other people. But it certainly takes a lot of pressure. They all help working with or someone who's obviously established and, like you say, so many followers and whatever. But it just certainly, it just makes the product, a bit more stronger, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it puts that extra gloss on it, doesn't it?
Exactly.
So
exactly.
let's move on. We've actually done like 50 minutes, believe it or not. Yeah. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you about recently, your recent track that you had, which is my favorite track of yours. I can't remember the producer, but it's like a garage track. The recent one you did, what was it called?
Yeah, Thoda Sangadi.
Yeah, that's my favorite track of yours, to be fair.
Serious.
That's straight on my playlist, straight on there. I think it's my personal favorite track of yours.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. No, absolutely good. Wicked vibes. GC Shin Hayer, who I've known for many, many years, and a great artist, great producer himself. So we've been in talks for a while to do something together. And you know what? That was probably the quickest, easiest, less stressful project I've ever worked with. The work I've done. And I think that's all down to Shin Paji. He just made it happen so easy for me. It was unbelievable. When it comes to composing, writing, it's, for me, that's easy. Obviously, if you told me to write a track or compose a track on this, as an artist, I find that easy. But it's when you're releasing something, you know, I think, oh, you know, that's the headache. But Baji produced that track. We wrote it. We did it in a couple of weeks. Um, I recorded it at Pete Ware's studio. I'm not sure if you're aware of Pete Ware.
Is that Cov?
He's actually based in Yorkshire now, but he was based in London. In fact, everybody worked with him a lot. A
Yeah,
lot of big artists worked with
I
him
know
on
Peter.
Keith
Yeah,
Singh. Yeah, Pete Ware.
yeah.
They again, you know, absolutely amazing experience because the guy is phenomenal how he records. Um, the Shin Baji put me through to Pete. I said, look, you know what? You're from Yorkshire. You work with Pete. He's local to you. A little I knew, I thought he was still in London. He was actually in Barnsley, which is close by to us. And I recorded the track there, Thoda Sangadi, composed it. Um, the way Shinpaji wanted the track, he had in his mind, that's how he did it. Okay. So I would have done it as a typical normal Punjabi song, repeated a couple of times, then three or whatever. But Paji did some next level you know, he had some next level vision for it, and he made the track sound absolutely fantastic. How he had, you know, what he had his mindset on it. And Tora Sangli did really well. Still playing really good. A lot of people showed so much love and support and opened. I think, you know, opened a different door for me, as it's been different to what I've done before.
No, as I said, I think it's my favorite track of yours. Like it's that's the melody, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I still remember. Otherwise, you know, you have so much songs in your head. Like, you know, you and I we probably listen to so many songs and they
Gigi.
come in and out, but that one stayed.
No,
Do you know what I
thank
mean?
you,
So
thank
that's a compliment to the composition, the music, the vocals, the delivery of that song. So that's like your hats off to yourself on that one, bro. Yeah.
No,
So
thank you.
yeah, no, it's so good. So the other thing I want to talk to you because it's almost been an hour now. Before we go, I saw a video recently went viral with you in London somewhere doing Gangster Dara. How did that come about? Tell us about that.
So basically, it was a Diwali show. Now I was just in London at the time, and one of the guys says, "Oh, look, you're in London." Who was, you know, a part of that little clan, and this is, "You're in London. Why don't you pop down to near Mayfair? You know, we've just seen your location. You're visiting London, and we've got kind of a small Diwali show happening here." I think it's becoming a bit of a trend, which is really good. Again, you know, platforms like that, it helps. I think I've seen something with Jiggy D and or someone else, and you know, it's becoming a bit of a trend. These street parties kind of thing. Um, so you know, I just went down. I was actually with the family, believe it or not. So even them guys, they loved it. And you know, I did a little set and whatever, and yeah. So performed again to Luk Sardar as well. The Chandigarh de Munde vi si, who you know, who showed a lot of love and whatever. It was a good vibe. It was a really good vibe, and you know, to have many people just listening on the street. You know, obviously we perform at Melee and festivals and whatever, but this was obviously central London, and you've just got random people from every nationality listening to yourself, and I have to take yourself, you know, whatever. But yeah, it was a good vibe, really good vibe.
Don't you find that? Because I've done a few shows where I've done similar lot stuff like that. Well, we did New Street Station, we're Birmingham New Street
Acha.
Station. You know, under the billboards. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
so we were forming for Diwali Day last year. Hands off, right? Hands down, sorry. Best show we've done because it was so intimate. Do you know what I mean? People get to know you, and you know, they're that close, and you know, dancing to your song. So, do you think that's like because the vibe I got from medley sometimes, right, is that it's quite detached. Unless they know your song, it's quite detached. Where I find those intimate songs, like the video I saw with you, people just dancing off and vibing with you.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
you're at a party themselves. So do you think that's a future of gigs?
You know what? I think it's a good vibe, to be honest with you. And like he says, you know, you're interacting with people, just we're normal people and you're interacting with normal people alongside you and you're giving them that vibe. You know, ਉੱਥੇ ਰੌਣਕ ਵੀ ਲੱਗੀ ਸੀ. It was really good. And I think it's a good thing for the future as well. Obviously, your mele are really, really fantastic festivals. You know, for us artists, we go out there, we perform. And again, you know, for us, we're just, it's another way of promoting our culture.
Yeah.
But I think this is a really, really good vibe as long as you're promoting the right thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, and we keep it to what we want to promote to. But yeah, it was a good vibe. Certainly different for me, but I didn't know what to expect. And when I did it, and I thought, you know, this is a good vibe. And like I said, there was many different people there from different nationalities.
Absolutely, because we've got like we're planning. This is insider information. We're planning a whole intimate gig scene. So
Acha,
we're working on an intimate gig where we've got these street, because we've got the equipment for street busking, huh? So we're planning like that kind of thing. We'd love if you're ever in your city, you come and you come and join us. And basically we're doing
okay,
street vibes. We've got a guitarist, vocals. We're just in that kind of street. So because you've got a lot of those kind of songs, so it'd be great to have you on one of those. So we're planning to do that. I'll keep you informed when we do that. But that's the
fantastic.
kind of thing we want to sort of because as I said to you, the mainstream stuff, what we were talking about earlier, it's almost like, you know, they if the mainstream is not helping, we create our own alternative
Of
scene.
course, of
Huh?
course.
Yeah, we want to create our own alternative scene, if I can speak properly. But that's always been my thinking, bro. That's the thing with this podcast, and and I think with artists like yourself as well, we if we all sort of aim for that thing, we help each other and you know to do this thing, and that's why you're on here, bro. You're a great artist, and
No, thank you.
and wish you the best. Yeah. So what about the future? What's coming up with you?
Yeah, and so basically, the next few tracks I've got, in fact, Tanks is who did Yaad Karegi. He's actually releasing one of my tracks, which we recorded many years back, and we had again a lot of good feedback from through social media. A track called Chadke, um, and that will be releasing soon. After that, next year, basically, I want to work still on singles. A lot of people have said, "Look, we're waiting for your album to drop." Um, I'm not sure with album yet. I think singles kind of keep you in the loop at the moment. But yes, I do want to drop an album, but it won't be until maybe late next year. But
Mhm.
just drop a few more singles early next year. And you know, you guys have always
Oh,
supported me, so I just want to say thanks, man.
absolutely, and I think from a marketing perspective, singles is better. Reason why, especially with like more up and coming artists like yourself who are emerging, who haven't hit the Diljit size, you know. But because what you do is if you release an album, right, Hannah, bang, in 1 month, the hype for the whole album's gone.
Exactly, exactly. And if you're releasing 6 tracks and a couple of tracks are getting lost on there, yeah, for whatever reason, because you haven't done any videos on it or whatever, and you just think, you know, you'd rather just put them out as singles and just wait. Um,
Exactly, bro. You could release 6 tracks in 6 months, and then you've
exactly.
got 6 months of traction going. So I think you're doing the right thing.
No, wicked. No, thanks, thanks.
So where can the audience catch you on socials, bro?
Yeah, so they're pretty norm: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. You know, but yeah, just hit us up on there. You know, I'll always share love back and whatever. But like I say, just stay in tune. We will be releasing soon, and I work closely with 3Q Records, as you guys may know. And yeah, so any new information, I'll always, you know, we'll always put out there.
Okay, and just a normal question I tend to ask if I remember. So today I've remembered. So the podcast is all about in the pursuit of musical excellence.
Mm.
What does that mean for you as an artist, and what advice would you give other artists how to pursue musical excellence?
Yeah, I mean, look, like I say, I mean, obviously, I've trained to do what I do, and I'm constantly training. I'll always be learning. But if you've got a passion in music, just as any other hobbies, you've got to consistently do riyaz. You've got to, practice, go out there, study what you're doing. Acha music, suno, acha music, uh, be around the right atmosphere as well, because that's a massive influence. So make sure that you're working with the right people and just do what you're best at. Whatever you've got inside you, just release it. Use the right platforms, use the right people, and put your work out there with your heart and dedication.
Absolutely, bro. So thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me, Raj.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
been a good laugh.
And I hope I've not said anything to offend anyone. It's nothing personal. But, I just believe that we should support each other. The UK industry, we certainly need to support each other. That's the main thing.
Absolutely. One last question, because you just reminded me as well. UK, and I will ask a lot of you UK artists this: what's happened to the UK industry, in your opinion, before we go a little bit of extra controversy
Yeah,
compared
I
to
mean,
like Canada?
just what I've just said is it is we need to support each other. And we've just had the rant and rave about who we need to support us guys, but as well as that, work around that circle, work with the producers who's gonna then push you forward, work with any artist or whatever who's gonna push you forward. It's not just a money thing. Oh yeah, you're doing my cover. Just put £200 in my account and that's it. I forgot about you. Work with each other. If you want to work with that person, or if you're willing to, take a project on, if you think that that project's good, then obviously help that artist. Not just as a singer, producer, or someone who does your artwork. Share, and just support each other so you can obviously all go forward, kind of thing.
Absolutely, 100%, bro. So thank you so much, guys. So this is the Raj Kaul podcast. That was Ranbir Daskai. If you could please follow him, check it out, and leave a review on the podcast as well. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like and share as well. And yeah, check it out for next time. So I'm gonna hit the stop button, and I'll carry on the conversation off air. All right, bless you all.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you, Bhavin.